Okay, so just reviewing this warm-up, or reviewing a few things. Last week we did 1, 2-step, and multi-step equations, right? You got your Chromebook, so you can use Desmos as your calculator. Today we're going to get into the actual new vocab for this unit, geometry vocab, and our warm-up was solving solving with x on both sides of the equation. You get rid of the smaller x, and then you can do a 2-step from there. Get rid of the loner and divide, right? Well, now we move on to notes for basic geometry terms, okay? So everyone's got this paper. Here we go. Now, in past years, have done things that make your hand hurt. Okay, real quick, listen to what I'm saying. I gave you all these definitions, right? You're going to see them on the screen. What I want you to do is to draw the representation. I also want you to hear what I'm saying, which I know is kind of hard to write and listen. I get that, okay? So do your best, but you definitely have these definitions on here. All right, here we go. First one is points, okay? What is a point? It defines a location but has no size. This is what's called an undefined term. Why is a point undefined? Because you cannot see it. It has no size. So if you actually think about what I'm telling you, for something to have no size means you could never ever see it, not even under a microscope, because there's literally no size. So it's more of a abstract theoretical concept, but when we put a quote unquote point on a piece of paper, it's really represented by a dot, okay? So I just want you to know a dot is not a point, but it represents a point, okay? And how do we notate it? Well, next to a little dot, we'll put a capital letter. So did you put a little dot with an A? That represents point A, okay? Then we have a line, okay? I know you've seen lines, many lines in your life. So go ahead and draw yourself a line with 2 points on it, A and B, right? So it's important that you know a line is a straight path that has no thickness and it extends forever in both directions, okay? It's straight, and it's very important that you see that they have arrowheads, okay? These arrowheads are what make a line because it says it extends forever in both directions, right? Next two. All right, sorry. Is everyone good on the first two? Next two. And if you stay a little bit ahead of me, as long as you're hearing what I'm saying, it's fine. But a plane, okay? We're not talking about no aeroplane. This is a flat surface that has no thickness and it extends forever in all directions. Now, if you can see what I'm holding here, okay, this is like a plane, right? A piece of paper. It's flat, right? Or like the whiteboard behind me, that's flat. However, a plane has no thickness. And if you didn't know this, paper, very thin, but it does have some thickness, right? You stack it up, okay? So imagine a piece of paper that has no thickness. It's like super razor sharp thin, even thinner than that. It has no size. But even that, even if you had that thin of a paper, this doesn't extend forever, right? I can hold it in my hand. So a plane is kind of, again, theoretical. It's undefined, but here it is. It is represented. Yes, it's represented by a parallelogram. You'll see this. It's like a parallelogram. Okay, this is a piece of a plane. That's what a plane is. Okay, now a segment. I want you to compare a segment with the line right above it, right? A segment almost looks the exact same, except that it has 2 endpoints, right? So very important that you see that it has 2 endpoints. Cool. Well, no arrowheads, that's very important. And I want you to notice the notation. Line has 2 arrowheads on top of the 2 letters. Line segment has no arrowheads on top of the 2 letters, okay? So everyone good on line segment. You see the definition, you have a representation that you drew, okay? A ray. Now a ray, okay, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. unlike a line or a line segment, okay? Line has two arrowheads. Line segment has no arrowheads, and a ray has one arrowhead, okay? So the emphasis here is one direction. One direction. So it's kind of small here, so go ahead and make sure you see that this is one arrowhead going to the right, right here, going one direction from A towards B with one arrowhead going one direction. Sound good? All right, opposite rays. So if a ray goes one direction, what if you have a ray going one direction and another ray with the same endpoint going the opposite direction? Well, that's called opposite rays. And what are these two opposite rays look exactly like? A straight line. Okay, so a straight line you could say is opposite rays from a given point. Cool. So the very big important emphasis is how many arrowheads are on there, which direction, all that good stuff. All right, what about collinear? Is everyone good on these two right here? You don't hear a no. Here we go. Okay, when y'all hear the word co, okay, you ever heard like Mr. Schneider is my co-worker. We work together, right? Uh, what's another co-word? Co Coefficient is codependent, you know. Cooperation, co-authoring. Okay, anything with co is sharing something, sharing. And so collinear are when points share the line. They're on the same line. I don't know if you've heard that song. Um, that is from, I think I use that song when we do asymptotes. Can't touch this. Or that, no, that's a different song. You're thinking, I'm thinking of, I'm thinking of MTR. That's Vanilla Ice. Okay, my bad. I got my, you know, old school stuff mixed up here. So collinear is when points are on the same line. So if you look right below that one, you get this word coplanar. Once again, co means they're shared on the same plane. Coplanar on the same plane. So I just want you to see these on top of each other. Okay, collinears on the same line, coplanars on the same plane. Make sure you write down these little like this and this. Whoops. Goodness gracious. All right. In the back. Make sure you're writing these down, okay? The pictures and the representations, okay? So we're in the middle of the page here. Non-collinear is not collinear. So when points are not on the same lines, y'all see A, B, and C, they don't make a straight line. They're non-collinear, okay? If I tried to draw a line through two of them, it wouldn't go through the other one, okay? So I'm not good at making straight lines like this. All right, and then non-coplanar is the same thing. If you got three points always are coplanar, TBH. So like, go ahead and put like a fourth point here. Okay, 3 points will always make a plane because they can make a triangle, which is flat, right? But if that fourth point is not in that triangle, flat surface, then that's non-coplanar, okay? Very important here. That's it for the front page. Look at us making good time. I would like for you to flip it over. Talk about the vocab on the back, please. Anyone still need this? Okay, go for it. Okie dokie. Next page. Okay. Now, okay, we already went over planes. If you want to scratch this one out, that's fine. Oops. We already did it, okay? I mean, you don't have to scratch it out. It's just we already did plane. You can do it twice, whatever you want, okay? Did my bad for not noticing. Nobody's perfect. Now, to the right of that, endpoint. Now, we've used that word already earlier in our notes, but it's like the name implies. An endpoint is a point at the end, right? So, endpoint right here. Bless you. And then we got, and sometimes you got one endpoint, sometimes you got two endpoints, right? Sometimes you got one on array, sometimes you got two on a segment, right? So that's endpoints, okay? All right. All right. Angle. Not to be misconstrued with angel. Okay, the E and the L are in a different location. Angle, two rays that share a common endpoint. So look, there's a ray going this way. There's a ray going this way. They got a common endpoint. That's an angle. We'll get more into that later into the unit. Midpoint is a point on a line segment that divides the line segment exactly in half. Now, I want you to notice these tick marks, okay? Hear me say this. Tick marks. Y'all see these little marks right here? That lets you know that these are the same size, same shape. There's a word for that, which we're going to get to in a few squares from now. But does everyone have angle and midpoint written down? Here's something you should have learned in Algebra 1, parallel lines and perpendicular lines, right? So make sure you draw parallel lines as lines that will never intersect, and go ahead and put these little arrowheads on there, okay? That lets me know that you know that they're never going to intersect because they have the same slope, okay? For perpendicular, make sure those two lines look like they got a 90-degree angle and that you put this little 90-degree angle symbol on there, right? Cool? Make sure you got yourself an angle. Put these down. Okay. Angle, midpoint, parallel lines, perpendicular lines. Cool. I don't know if you got endpoint at the top, but anyways. Looking ahead to the next one, congruent. Now, have y'all heard that word before, congruent? No? All right. Well, we're going to be using that a lot in geometry. Does anyone still need angular midpoint? Okay. So congruent, same shape, same size. Everything is the same, okay? So go ahead and draw two triangles that are exactly the same, and then put this little equal sign with a squiggle on top, okay? Right? Morning. Send a quick reply. So again, congruent, same size, same shape. Now, angled bisector is a line, line segment, ray, or plane. Anything that cuts a line segment exactly in half. Y'all see that? Half. So this has to be called the what? Midpoint. Right in the middle, okay? And we had that definition right here. So segment bisector gives you a midpoint because it cuts it in half. You can put it back. And then you got these tick marks once again to show that this is cut in half exactly. That's a bisector of a segment, segment bisector. Okay. Now, axiom or postulate, starting point of reasoning. It's a statement universally accepted as true. Okay. So when we tell you axioms and postulates, okay, they are kind of unproven assumptions, but they make the world go round. They work, okay? Everyone sees it, everyone notices it, okay? Even if you can't always explain every little bit and piece of it, okay? There's always going to be bits and pieces of presupposed information, and those are your axioms, postulates, or maybe even presuppositions, okay? Conjecture is an opinion or conclusion formed on the basis of incomplete information. Okay, so sometimes we don't have all the whole picture, so we make a kind of a hypothesis. Reminds me of like science fair, right? We make a conjecture, and that kind of stuff is stuff we're going to do also in this unit as we talk about logic. Now, that was it for the notes. Okay, these last two don't have a picture, though we will get into it later. Are there any vocab words that you needed me to go back to if you didn't get it? Okay. You need to hold on to this. You need to know this information. Okay, that's why you have it. What I would like for you to do now, okay, first of all, I just want to go to Google Classroom. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Okay, so since you have a Chromebook in front of you, most of y'all, right? Um, I assigned for y'all what, and by the way, the website used to be called Quizzes. Did anyone ever do a quizzes before in your classes? Okay, I'm here to break the news to you. They changed their name. So sad. But anyways, so now they are called Wayground. I guess it's like playground, but it's way cool. Anyways, so Wayground/quizzes is a short little assignment on quizzes, Wayground, uh, on this vocabulary that you can do right now. Okay, you can use your vocabulary as you're thinking of these things, and I'd keep doing it till you get 100. Okay, you can do it. All right, that's your assignment. If big if you did not get a paperback because you turned it in already and you got above an 80 or above. Okay, if you got a paper to correct today, I would do that first. You know what I'm saying? You don't want those low grades to drag you down. So first, knock out that correction work, and then go ahead and go to Google Classroom and knock out the Wayground quizzes. All right? Here we go.